If ever there was a need for forbearance and patience, and I say to myself, control over emotions, this is the subject. As I speak to you on the state of education in the primary and secondary level of students in rural India, what may be called the government rural schools, the state of education at the primary and secondary level of these schools in the 75th year of our republic. I see a familiar pattern in all the statistics from government. And of course, the idea is familiar that statistics are meant to hide rather than reveal. So we are at a loss to find the reality. There is something, and we should be thankful for that, in the ASER reports put out by the NGO, which is pretty well known for its work. That report comes every year. The annual status of education, it is called. And I have gone through the latest reports which came out in January 2024, and I have also gone through various government reports. Now, in all these reports, there are percentages given, and I always have wanted and still want to have a picture of the people involved, because more than anything else, this touches human lives. And after a good degree of work, I have some figures with me. Not too many, but they are imprinted in my mind. And what I see is, we have 27 crore students in these schools at the primary and secondary level classes. So 27 crore students who dream of a life away from oppression and social discrimination and caste and cruelty of the highest degree in the villages. Dr. Ambedkar has described the village as a place of oppression in very harsh and painful words. From these villages, 27 crore children come out dreaming of a good education, dreaming of education. for deliverance from oppression and social discrimination and unequal opportunity, which they know their parents suffer from. This is the human drama, the human picture, and no amount of statistics and things like that, percentages and all that, will give you the children, the number of children involved. And before I set out to do these things, and I will, let me tell you that in a Rajya Sabha question about 2 or 3 years ago, the government came out with a very bland reply, devoid of much emotion, as all these questions and answers in the parliament are. And that question said that 13 lakh children are not in school. They are not in school. They are of the age where they should be in school, but they are not in school. 13 lakh children. And the highest number was in UP, Uttar Pradesh, followed by Bihar, and then by Gujarat, and then Assam. This, of course, is the tip of the iceberg, really. But then I must say that this official record is there, out of school. Why out of school? Therein lies the story. Therein lies the story. And so I must come to the main story. I said 27 crore children are in these schools in rural India. And out of a lot of calculation and some labor, I find these realities, and I want to share that with you, my citizens. Cry, my beloved country, for these figures tell a heartbreaking story. Nothing less than a heartbreaking story. 10 crore children are affected in their learning because the required number of teachers as per government norms itself are not there. So 10 crore, out of the 27 crores, 10 crores are affected by not having the required number of teachers as per government norms. More than 2 crore children are affected by unqualified teachers, teachers who are not qualified to be teachers. 17.8 crore children are affected by this fancy but cruel name called multi-grade classrooms. How terrible! Multi-grade classrooms hide a terrible reality that students of class 3 and 4 and 5 are put together in one classroom, and you call it multi-grade classrooms. What can be the outcome of this kind of teaching, if you can call that teaching? And so we are not surprised at the outcome, which is heartbreaking. None of these outcomes can be blamed on the children. They dream and dream of education. they look forward to the state for education. And out of all this, what is the outcome? More than 25% of a class 8 student cannot read a text of class 2 in the regional language. More than 50%, I think it is about 56%, cannot do simple calculations. They cannot do, they are not able to do a division of a 3-digit number, say 248, by a single digit, say 8. They are not able to do. They are not able to compute or understand a simple arithmetic problem, a simple calculation problem. If you go to sleep at 8:30 at night, at 8:30 at night, and get up at 4:30 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning, how many hours of sleep did you get or have you got? More than 55% of the students did not answer, could not answer. This is the outcome report. What is this story? In the 75th year of the Republic, when we have all the marching and all the fly past with all those machines which we have imported from other countries, when we have all the band playing, this 75th year of the Republic, the real human resource, the real security of the country rests with these 27 crore children who study in the primary and secondary levels of our schools. Let there be no doubt at all about it, that not all this marching of contingents can ever hide the fact that the real security is the human resource of these children who will become of age, go to adulthood in another 10 or 12 or 15 years. That's why the great Vietnamese leader Ho Chi Minh said, if you are looking at the next 10 years, plant trees. But if you are looking at the next 100 years, cultivate your people. In this case, look after our children's education in the rural primary and secondary level. these are the students who will be or ought to be the workforce of our manufacture. Our manufacturing sector is practically non-existent. How can you expect the manufacturing sector to come up when our children have not got the basic functional skills, the basic language skills which will enable them to read instructions, the basic arithmetical skills which will enable them even to function as effective students or effective citizens. So, as I look at this scene, there is just a ray of hope. There is no use thinking of the past, but we must look at what is now, the facts on the ground, and then look towards the future. I see a ray of hope in the hundreds of NGOs who are working in this sector. Look at the biodata of any of these people who have started these NGOs, these non-government organizations. They come from brilliant background, an educational background. Some of them most brilliant from other universities of the world, and here too. And they want to give back to society what they have got. Selfless people, selfless. They are doing good work. What the government should do is to give them all encouragement and not to look at CIA agents lurking around somewhere. And then, it is not that they can give everything to an NGO and then go. There is a duty cast on the government, because you cannot have a Right to Education Act 2009, the right to free and compulsory education from 6 to 14, and all that. Without acting on it, you can't allow the rights to become a mockery. They have to act. They have to act in terms of training the teachers who are deficient, of posting teachers where there are huge vacancies, of putting more money into this very vital sector which will determine our future for the next 100 years. As it stands, the latest figure of union government spending in the last year is 0.37% of GDP. There are many countries in Asia which spend close to 4% of GDP on education. We need to spend more. We need to see this education of our children. In this case, I started with 27 crore children as the very bedrock of our security. Wow, what is security after all? If human resource of your country our country, our beloved country, is not taken care of. We cannot allow this wastage. We have to act and not be consumed by our own slogans of having arrived, of becoming the third most powerful country in the world, things of that kind. We should not allow ourselves to be carried away by these slogans. We should see the reality and feel for it. That is my simple proposition.